"Oh, that was the police, you've got to go to the hospital because father's been in a car crash and he's already died twice on the way there."
It was dark, it had been raining.
Like, I had 4 of my friends pass away in a car accident.
A boy on a bike, all of a sudden he did a swivel and went into the side of my car.
They were racing out near Geneva in a suburb of Kyogle.
140 doing fishies around corners.
They were coming around a bend and hit some gravel.
And she just failed to negotiate a bend.
Doing 120.
And she drove over the median strip.
Drifted into the wrong side of the road.
Lost control and
Flew up the car and
rolled a few times.
hit the telegraph pole.
And then wrapped around a tree.
And just hit him head on.
Split second can just turn your whole life upside down.
And Paul died instantly.
He was not conscious, but his eyes were open.
And Mitchell got thrown out of the car through the window.
And the driver had no licence.
Corey got his head ripped off by the seatbelt.
They didn't know what went wrong.
But my life just changed.
They breathalyzed me and I blew low range. Basically the police handcuffed me and took me to the station.
The car was like that big, squashed.
You know, with all the court case and stuff. I got some tests done and I've got like a health issue. Whilst I wasn't drunk, my body like holds on to it for a long time.
So when we first arrived at the hospital, they kind of said he's got brain damage, but we don't know how bad it will be until he wakes up.
The boy was on life support in a critical condition.
Well, it didn't look like him anymore. He was just kind of all smashed up. And
There was my older brother lying on the table, and next to him was my younger brother. I was shaking him saying, "Wake up, wake up." I couldn't believe it.
After 3 days, they started to say, "If he wakes up." And then a few days later, they said, "Look, he's not going to wake up."
We were there and we were talking, there was people there, and she's like, "Mum, why aren't you with Adrian at the hospital?" "Mum, is Adrian dead? Like, or are we waiting for confirmation or what?" And I said, "Because he's died somehow." "Oh." Yeah, I didn't believe it at first. Like, she knew, but she just couldn't compute it in her brain.
But I got really depressed. I didn't think someone like me could be in a place like that.
I couldn't talk much to anyone about it, you know.
I started drinking a lot and stuff like that.
I think I walked around in a fog for 2 years, numb to everything else that was happening around me.
I didn't go to school for 3 months afterwards, so I couldn't focus.
I'm in my misery and this is where I'm going to stay until I'm out of it.
Constantly had like migraines and couldn't get out of bed, and you know, you got people judging you and kind of speculating, and you know, everything replaying in my head. I just couldn't get away from it, you know.
Every day it hits you. Some days more than others. Some days, you know, you might get until 10 o'clock in the morning before it actually, you think, "Oh, that's right, they're not there." Having to organise a funeral for your son, it's a huge thing.
And then the next day, the whole fence was covered in flowers and photos and little memorabilias and stuff like that.
The ripple effect of what it does to your family.
Like, it rips communities apart.
How you don't want to upset other people, but you're just really angry and hurt, and you want to hurt other people because you're hurt, but you can't.
Your friends, you know, they're of course compassionate and supportive for a certain amount of time, and then they don't understand why it's been a year and you're not over it.
I looked at Mum as just as a mum. Now I look at her as a soldier.
You're walking around with this hole in you, and you just learn to live with it. Nothing will fill it. It's just part of who you are now. It also makes it harder too, because there's not that one person that you grew up with there. Just want to share it with.
You can die tomorrow, as I found out. But also I've learnt that you can't live in fear of death. because then you won't live.
He's okay now, you know that there's no ongoing problems with him. So we were both very lucky, even though you may not feel drunk, could still be in your system, and if something goes wrong, can turn your whole life upside down and somebody else's.
So it's going to be like, oh, I miss Paul. I want Paul here.
Every time I drive, I think about it.